Hey everyone, this is Sean Butner, Certified High Performance Coach, coming to you live on Facebook today for the weekly video. I guys hope you are all awesome. I am getting over a cold. I've been fighting some sinus headache stuff, so if I seem a little bit off, that's probably what it is. But what I wanted to talk to you guys this week about, I'm going to do a series on high performance for this coming month, so this will be one of 5 videos in that series, and it's all about how high performance can help you feel more fulfilled and for you to reach your full potential even quicker than you might on your own. So that's why I'm doing this, because it's something that worked with me. So the first topic I wanted to talk to you guys about is clarity and how clarity can help you build your confidence. Now, we totally froze. I have some notes here, so if you see me looking that way, testing out my new getup. But essentially, when we are clear on our thoughts, when we're clear about what we want out of life, when we're clear about what we need to do, we are more confident. So if you've ever felt like you've just been going through the motions, or you feel a little bit frustrated at your situation, or you feel stuck, or that you're in a rut, it's most likely because you don't have that clarity on how to move forward. So for me, back when I had my first gig at Walmart corporate doing techie type things, so I was a project manager-ish, did a lot of software development, did a lot of requirements gathering, and all that stuff was great. It's a great company. I really loved that job, but I didn't really feel like that's what I didn't want to work in retail, because it just didn't feel connected and fulfilled. So maybe you've felt this way before, but you take a career because you have to pay the bills. Like, I had to pay a bunch of student debt back, and so you take this gig and you're not really fulfilled. You don't really feel like you're contributing in the way that you want to. And for me, I didn't know what I wanted to do next. So I knew that I needed a job to pay for the student loans, and that was awesome and taking care of that. But I didn't know what I really wanted to do when I grew up. So for me, I was supposed to be at Walmart for 2 years. That was my plan, and then figure out what I was going to do and then make the jump there. But I was actually there for 5 years. And, so I spent 3 extra years trying to figure out what I wanted to do, feeling stuck, feeling frustrated, not knowing what's going on. And so what ended up happening is, I had gotten involved in this, high-performance personal development stuff, and had heard about this guy who was running a marketing seminar. You might know him as Brendan Burchard. Maybe you know something else, but that's his name. So, Brendan talks about, all the online marketing at Experts Academy. And I remember looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. And then feeling just fed up that I wasn't making any type of move. I was so paralyzed. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to this seminar. And so make that jump. And at Experts Academy, you learn about all the different modes you can make money online. And I had this idea to, I'd been working through my student debt. I had finally gotten some success at it after working on it for a while. And, being in that position where you have to, what bill am I going to pay this month? That's where I started out as right out of college, and had finally worked my way into a place that was comfortable where, I didn't do much things that were fun, but I wasn't increasing my student loan balance every month. So that felt good, and I'm like, okay, maybe figuring out how to serve in this way where I can teach other people like me that have a decent job and, for all intents and purposes, went to the college and found, did what you're supposed to do. You find a good job, you start making money, all that stuff. But we're hitting up against their student debt. So what I ended up doing, I had that idea then, okay, I need to, start this business, and maybe that's my next career move. And it's completely different from what I was doing at Walmart then, but, so that kind of got the gears going. And then at a different seminar on personal development, I was asked the big question, are you living your truth? And, this is something that we should all be asking ourselves a lot more, because it's really important and it can tell you if you're living into your clear future or not. And at that point in my life in 2012, I did not like the answer to that. And ultimately that was the catalyst with that idea to start my business, helping people with student debt. That ultimately led, 2 months later, I quit Walmart and I moved out to California with a friend who had a awesome deal where he's like, live in my empty room for as long this empty room in my house for as long as you need to while you figure your stuff out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely doing that. So that ultimately got me started in that business, and I felt confident. I felt like I was living my life. There were bouts where I thought I completely destroyed my life, but c'est la vie, huh? There's something magical about the uncertainty of what's going to happen, but knowing what you want to do and chasing that. And so that's what I wanted to impart on why clarity is so important. I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew the next steps from taking that marketing course years before, and I could see a future where I was doing that and helping a lot of people and feeling really fulfilled. And I ran for it and, did the jump. So, when it comes to you, like, have you ever felt that level of uncertainty or that level of you just don't know what you want to do moving forward? Because if you do, I have a couple of things that can help you figure that out. On top of just asking yourself regularly, are you living your truth? Because that can shed the light on what you're doing or not. If you're doing it, great. So the first thing that idea that I have for you guys is to live your values every day. And it's something that if you don't think about and define for yourself, you're not going to just walk in and find it, and so, if you're thinking about who is the aspirational person you want to be, for yourself, for your family, for your community, what are the 3 words that would define that person? Because when you have those 3 words, you can remind yourself them regularly, and then you can take action to actually go and live into that. So for me, it's optimistic, it's creative, and it's funny, humorous. I like to find the silver lining in things, and, I really like to, just see the silver lining and try to make the best out of every day. It's important for me and my psychology, because I will focus on everything that is wrong and get real grumpy real quick if I'm not actively generating that. So those are my 3 words, but what are your 3 words? And then what did you do something to honor and express that value in your life today? So it's pretty simple questions, but if you continue to ask yourself these day in and day out, you'll be more incongruent with yourself. Because if you, for me, I want to be, find the humor in things every day. But if I'm super serious, I check in after lunch and I'm like, I have been heads down, focused, haven't smiled at all, take a breath, and then try to, with some intentionality, build that in your life. I feel more like myself moving forward in a weird way, just because I wasn't paying attention before. And, by creating that in my life, at the end of the day, when I'm going to bed, and be like, oh yeah, I found the humor in, that video that I tried to upload that completely crashed. It's technology's out to get us, so that kind of stuff. So first thing, live in your values every day, is know your 3 words and do something to show those 3 words in your life, and you will feel more confident. And because if you're fighting yourself, if you think, this is what the point I was trying to make. This is live, folks. So, if, in my case, I try to find the humor in things and I don't do it, then I'm not really, living into that, and your head will conflict and explode. So, you want to be congruent with who you are. That's the whole gist of that. And when you're that way, you'll feel more confident. That first point. Second point, okay. Moving on, envision your best future in detail. And this is something that I've heard from Frank Kern, I think, Tim Ferriss has talked about this. Eben Pagan. There's a bunch of people that talk about envisioning your best future in extreme detail, because you can train your mind and your brain to start looking for opportunities to help build that. So, because when you know the kind of work you want to do, the kind of social life you want to have, the kind of family life you want to have, the kind of exercise you want to be doing, where you want to be living, and all that stuff, it's much easier to make decisions that will move you towards that than if you're just kind of like out in the forest, bushwhacking, trying to I'll get to my destination somehow. I'll just kind of walk through the trees and see what happens. So, having that clear vision of the life you want to build, one, so you know that you've arrived. If you're like, man, my ideal life that I'm trying to build is what I woke up to today and what I'm doing, you can really feel that and know that you don't need to go chase after, anything extra, you're good. So how do you find more in that? And then if you're not there, then, what choices can you make today to help move you a little bit closer? So, the confidence in knowing what that future is, or the clarity that, the clearer you define that, then the more confident you can be towards, moving your big projects towards that. So your career, orienting your family, and all that stuff. So something to think about. Okay. Third thing is to know who you need to role model for every day. Now, sometimes, we're so busy, we're all doing our own thing. We don't think to look that, maybe your kids are looking at how you're handling work right now. And if you're like, boom, 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 super workaholic, all the hours into work, what is that teaching your kids, Or if you're always, heads down and banging your head against your desk, you're frustrated at work without trying anything new, what's that teaching your teammates and your manager or, the people in your community? So this idea of thinking about who you need a role model for can sometimes change how you make decisions too. And it can, if you're not putting forth your best self and you're teaching people not to put forth their best selves, it's not really going to build your confidence. And that's the whole idea of this video. So what are you doing to build your confidence? Be clear on who you need to role model every day. Okay. The fourth idea I have is to just know your big moves. So if you know who you need a role model for, you know who you are and you're living into that, and you know the life you want to build, what are the big projects that are going to help realize or amplify that, right? And it seems pretty common sense, but, so often, if you've ever been wiped at the end of the day because you've been so busy doing so many things, but you're like, man, the project that I was working for at work, I still haven't made any momentum on it. There's still so much more to do. It's because you're not prioritizing the things that really matter, the things that are really going to turn the dial and move your life forward. And that's what we want. So if you don't know the 3 or 5 big moves you need to make in order to realize that dream, in order to live your values and, role model for the people around you, then, of course, you're not going to be doing those things and you're not going to be building that confidence, or you can't confidently move into that future. So, figure out, spend some time journaling, what are the big projects that are going to build the life that you want. Okay. The fifth idea I have, and I really love this, is just know where you might go wrong on making, going after that future, right? So if you're like, hey, I know that I need to make a career change, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to have enough money, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be successful, I'm afraid that, whatever, right? If you know that those are the concerns and things that might stop you from taking action to move forward, then you could come up with a plan for each of those. I might not have enough money and I'll be financially in it and it's going to suck, right? Well, understandable that finances might be part of the consideration, but maybe you can save some money. Maybe you have a nest egg or something that you can use if things get really bad. Maybe if you, in the example that you're going to start a business, if it doesn't work out after a year, you go back into industry and it's not that big a deal. So, knowing where you might get tripped up and having a plan for each of those things can help lessen that anxiety and help you feel more confident in taking that action, which is start the business to live the life that I want to live. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I'm trying a little bit new format, some new technology and stuff. So hopefully I didn't ramble too long, and you guys found something of value in it. But I really just want you to, at the end of the day, I want you to feel confident and clear about where you're going in life, because through the research in high performance, we know that helps you perform even better is when you have that clarity and confidence to move forward. So, that said, hope you enjoyed this. Please comment below if you're interested in high performance coaching. I've been certified as a coach for 4 years now, since 2015. And we have this awesome process where it's not me winging it like this, but I've notes and stuff that can take you on an individual level or in a group setting to that next level. And if you're interested, there's a link below this video, or you can go to seanbutler.com/coaching and get set up there. And if you're not interested, then cool, no big deal. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope provided some value for you, and we'll see you guys on the other side. So take care.